I actually have been paying a lot of attention to this. And since the Ohio stuff came out, I've been in a couple of different states since then that have legalized sports betting across the country outside of Nevada. I pay hyper attention to this just because of this industry that we're in and the stuff that we do here. And with all that, I have seen that for the majority, specifically the big boys or whatever, that language is now gone. They have completely changed all of their marketing with all of that. But I think this just really does kind of pile on to what we've been talking about throughout the theme in the course of this whole podcast. So it's like, listen, what may seem obvious to you, if you are somewhat savvy in the industry, is not necessarily obvious to the masses. And that's kind of where we need to be with all of this. And I think, as we move forward, the sports books themselves need to sit down and understand that, hey, we might be a little bit too in the bubble and in the weeds here, and say, step back. Is this something that 98% of people are going to easily be able to decipher? And, that's kind of how we can move forward with all of this. Because again, on its surface, labeling something free bet is not like incredibly harmful and all that, but it is at least a little bit confusing because we all know it's not a free bet. You still have to put money up first and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm glad that we're moving in the direction of just complete and utter transparency in all of this and leave any ambiguity out of it.
From the high level view on this, it comes across to me as an ounce of prevention being worth a pound of cure. And when state level regulators step in, and it might not seem like a huge change for them to say, hey, in Ohio, you are not allowed to use this terminology. But what it is that is proof of what the gaming industry has said about itself for a long time about it is heavily regulated. Mm-hmm. And it is hopefully responsive to those regulators when things like this free bet ban come down in Ohio. It then gets mirrored in Pennsylvania. It gets mirrored in Massachusetts and in other places. And that, when it's done effectively, shows that sweeping regulation at the federal level is not something that this industry needs, but they need to prove it. You need to be able to prove it on a regular basis when you can do it at the state level, when you can do it with state level regulators stepping in, and they make what is not a heavy-handed change. It's a small change, and operators respond to it, and they realize, hey, okay, now that we've gotten our hands slapped, and now that we've gotten a few $100,000 in fines over this sort of thing, maybe it's not just the cost of doing business. Maybe we need to be serious about stepping back from this and responding to public perception. And that is another big thing is, like you said, Matt, realizing that everybody has an in the bubble perspective to some level, and that responding to outside perception when it comes to this industry in particular is important.
And we can all be very dismissive of this idea of a federal ban like that. And I'm going to dismiss it for the next couple of years. It's not happening this year. It's not happening in a presidential election year. That's not going to happen. But just dismiss it all over the long term for your own peril, right? This is a thing that could happen. We just saw Belgium ban gambling advertisements. This is a world where this is possible. And if you don't take some responsibility and be a little bit of proactive, we're not asking you to stop advertising or pull everything back. Just do the stuff on the margins, just cut it out. The stuff that's really bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, like we said, it seems like it's heading in that direction. Of course, we're going to, we're monitoring this stuff every single week. And so, looks like everybody's at least trending in the right direction. Hopefully that continues and we don't have to deal with any more